What's up, y'all? It's Mr. 6'8" back in the house. Listen, I've been gone for a second. I ain't made a video since Hack was a puppy. But nonetheless, we gonna see him make a video tonight. Well, it's kind of a live stream. So yeah, I'm looking a little rough. Listen, let me go ahead and tell you right now. I just had surgery 3 days ago. Okay. The fact that I'm sitting in this chair, thanks to lidocaine and a lot of meds, is nothing but the grace of God. So we just gonna give thanks because of that, just to start off with. Okay, can I get an amen? Can I get a clap, 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 clap? Okay, how you doing? So that's first and foremost. I do feel better now that I have slept my life away for the last 72 hours, but that is not what this live is about. This live is about TS Madison and Jess Hilarious going back and forth at one another over some petty stuff, okay? But first, before I say and get into it, let me go really quick to my Facebook just to make sure everything is working correctly. So bear with me for one moment. First, before I really quick to my Facebook, all right, that is working. Okay, this might work. I kind of look okay there. I'm not looking too fragile on camera. Okay, this might work. I kind of look okay there. All right, so let me turn this down. So basically, let's jump right into it. On about maybe 2 or 3 days ago, Just Hilarious and TS Madison, where really it started with Charlemagne the God. Okay, that's what it really started from. Better yet, let me just show y'all. I'm gonna just show y'all the clip, and then I'm gonna come back and give my thoughts and opinions so that the story makes sense. But basically, on the Breakfast Club, as we all know, Jess Hilarious is now on the Breakfast Club. Charlemagne the God made a comment about a viral TikToker by the name of Risa Tisa, I believe her name is. Could be getting it wrong. If I am, please forgive me. And it was regarding basically big back comments. So let me just go back in the past and let y'all see what was said initially, and then I can give kind of context going from there. Hold on one second. All right, I think y'all can see this. All right, here we go. Can y'all see it? Hold on, y'all. We having testicle difficulties. Okay, there you go. Uh-oh, wait a minute, y'all. The sound ain't
Husband
playing.
told her and how she.
Oh my God, no.
Yes, that's
Oh
what I
my
said. I was
God,
like, oh my
no.
God, you should be real scared. Last week I reported on the viral TikTok series "Who the F Did I Marry" by Risa Tisa. And for those who may not be familiar, this is the woman who had an exclusive series on TikTok and shared all the lies her ex-husband told her and how she believed them. Charlemagne shared his opinion on the story when I reported it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I hear a lot of big back behavior. Does she have a big back?
She do give Sheila that was driving up the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Sheila
did.
was beautiful though.
Yeah, no. You talked about the big back,
Yeah,
not
the
the
big back.
face.
Yeah, you're right, you're
She's
right.
cool.
What's your thing with big backs?
No, I'm just saying because in a situation like this, some of you big backs, y'all got to stop being so thirsty for a man. There's a man out there for you. Okay, this woman believed all of this because she wanted to believe all of this. Big back belief isn't like everybody else's belief. Okay, she said it herself. He said everything I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
She wanted to believe whatever was
She
coming out of
wanted
his
to
mouth
believe that.
because she wanted a man so bad.
Okay, so T.S.
All right,
Madison,
so
a self-proclaimed
let me
big
stop
backer,
there.
she publicly.
Hold on, y'all. Let me stop right there. Okay, let me remove this and bring myself back in. Let me make sure I'm back here. Okay. So I'm still new to this, trying to learn how to switch back and forth. So as you can see, that's where everything stemmed from. The video you just saw, she made a comment. Well, basically, Jess was just basically doing her job, reporting the news. Charlemagne made a comment about it sounded like that the TikToker was giving big back behavior. And basically, just even with that being said, in context to that, Jess was still being very respectful, because I think Charlemagne tried to make it seem like that the TikToker was ugly, but Jess went back and said, no, this is solely focusing on strictly just talking about the big of the back, okay? And that's it. So with that being said, that happened, okay? And then let me go back and give y'all the other video of what happened with as a result of basically what happened as a result of TS Madison and Jess Hilarious getting into it. So let me go back and give y'all that video so you can have context. Here it go.
And she said, hashtag big back people, including me. Y'all letting Charlamagne get away with that? Or are we on? And she said, Madison, a self.
She wanted to believe whatever was coming out of his mouth because she wanted a man so bad.
Okay. So TS Madison, a self-proclaimed big backer, she publicly checked in on the rest of the Big Back Brigade to see how she should respond. And she said, hashtag big back people, including me. Y'all letting Charlamagne get away with that? Or are we caving his face in? Let me know.
Whoa.
Yep. There was no LOL. There was no emoji. There was no nothing. First of all, why am I even talking to you? How you just include yourself into that? Now, if you were to say that to her, then what would happen?
Oh, they be calling for my head on social
what? I'm talking about social media in the streets. Everywhere.
Ask for you to be canceled, suspended, all that.
It's like, what are we even talking about?
Well, let the record show. I didn't even
Okay,
know
y'all. So let me go back for those that missed
sounded
it
like Big
because
Back
I see
and I
that
know
my
Big
friends
Back
will not
belief when I
share
hear
it
it.
publicly.
Okay.
Let me go back and rewind it.
Well,
So
there
for
was
those
no
that are just
emoji.
joining,
That said, hashtag
this is
big
where
back people, including
this is where basically Jess responds to T.S. Madison's comment that kind of triggered all of this. But let me go back here and start over again, just to make sure I get it right. If you're just coming in, just go and hit rewind, because yeah, technical issues, but we're gonna get it together. Here we go.
She publicly
was coming out of his mouth because she wanted a man so bad.
Okay. So T.S. Madison, a self-proclaimed big backer, she publicly checked in on the rest of the Big Back Brigade to see how she should respond. And she said, hashtag big back people, including me. Y'all letting Charlamagne get away with that? Or are we caving his face in? Let me know.
Whoa.
Yep. There was no LOL. There was no emoji. There was no nothing. First of all, why am I even talking to you? How you just include yourself into that? Now, if you were to say that to her, then what would happen?
Oh, they be calling for my head on social
What? I'm talking about social media in the streets. Everywhere.
Ask for you to be canceled, suspended, all that.
It's like, what are we even talking about?
Well, let the record show. I didn't even know the young lady had a big back. Okay, I just said it sounded like Big Back behavior, and I know Big Back belief when I hear it.
Okay,
that's all.
Well,
I don't know why the Big Back Brigade was upset at me.
Well, I don't know how somebody just include themselves in it. Like, why are we?
I don't think she was serious though. What she said, that sounded like
I don't see no
the
LOL.
beginning of it sounded like a joke.
Well, is she your friend? Did she call you up and say, "I'm just playing"?
No, I'm talking about the beginning when she said to the Big Back people. What did she say?
She believes she has a big back. She said, hashtag big back people, including me.
Yeah, I thought that was a joke.
Are we caving in his face?
Yeah, don't do that, T.S. Madison. You know what I'm saying? Because like, just said it would, if I was to make a tweet about a transgender like that and end it by saying, "Oh, we caving their face in," social media would be calling for my head.
Absolutely.
So let's play nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's absolutely play nice. But see, that's crazy because that's gonna fly right up under the radar. Because I guess she could say that. That's crazy. I don't understand.
Is Jess Hilarious? Why is the constant? Why do you constantly call for me?
Okay, so y'all basically saw what I just played, which was basically a snippet of what led to before T.S. Madison gave her second rebuttal. Now, here's the thing before I go further. As you saw, and even before any of this transpired, if you go back in time, we already know that there was kind of some riffraff or tension between T.S. Madison and Jess Hilarious to start with, okay? So this isn't something that just popped up all of a sudden, something that just started all of a sudden, something that just been like, oh, or whatever the case. There's always been some kind of tension. But even back then, as T.S. Madison has addressed present tense, that it was kind of, I guess you could say, mutual on both ends, meaning that everybody was cool. Nobody had issues with one another. Everybody had left it alone. And that was it. And it was basically regarding comments about Jess Hilarious and her talking about how people will mistake her, I guess, as far as her gender sometimes. And it was just a whole situation, of like cisgender, discussing about cisgender, transgender, just all kinds of things. Like it was just a whole back and forth of just what I felt like was just misunderstanding and things taken out of context. So fast forward when this came about, okay, and we saw, as I showed you on the video, that the Breakfast Club talked about this viral TikToker, which did not have TS Madison's name in it. In all fairness, now that was accurate. Her name was not anywhere in any of it. As a matter of fact, it was just a story of where Charlamagne and Jess was talking about the viral TikToker Risa Tisa that talked about her cheating husband Legion, and basically that was it. Then TS Madison goes and makes a general comment, but puts Charlamagne in it and did not mention Jess Hilarious, hey Kimberly, in regards to it, and basically just talked about, as far as we feel some kind of way as a part of the Big Back Committee, which she was including herself. And the only reason why I'm kind of generalizing this here is because of the fact that it's just a thing of when I think about it, in terms of T.S. Madison, I know that that's kind of how she talks. That's just kind of her way of like communication. It doesn't really need to be an LOL or an emoji or anything put like that behind it. If you know her, you know her. She talks like that. So when she mentioned about caving Charlamagne's head in and stuff like that, or do we need to say and do X, Y, and Z, I know that she didn't mention anything as far as it wasn't intentional. Intentional is what I'm trying to get at. I know it was just a thing of basically her pretty much like reading what was said and her feeling some kind of way, because she does talk about big backs all the time, which that being included of herself. That's not a read. I'm just saying it is what it is. So when the situation came up, and she addressed the topic, she mentioned Charlamagne's name. She did not mention Jess Hilarious' name. I knew right then that it was intentional that she did not mention Jess Hilarious' name, because of the fact that she didn't want any issues, especially considering, as I mentioned before, already the previous stuff. Hey, y'all in the comments, thank you all for y'all prayers. Just side note, I see you all in the comments there. Like I told y'all, a lot of cane and pain meds is what got me up right now. Okay, I done slept all day. I can't take it no more. I'm sitting up straight in the chair. I'm not making any harsh movements, but we gonna get through this live. But back to the topic. That's why she didn't put Jess Hilarious' name in there, is because of the fact that I knew that she didn't really want to make it a thing. So as the video, as you've seen, when Jess Hilarious mentioned about how did T.S. Madison even insert herself into the conversation, once again, as I mentioned before, T.S. Madison always talks about big backs. She has this new show on YouTube, PHAWG. Is that how you pronounce it? But basically, it's a word played off of another word. As far as in the queer community. And so her and Craig the Writer Stewart, they basically have a show and they talk about general topics, kind of much so what is like the Breakfast Club, except the fact that it's just them two on the show. So I kind of looked at it from that perspective as well. And I said, well, in all fairness, this is a show where you talk about all kind of stuff going on in social media. And that was, I guess one of the things that just so happened to come across their desk on their side. And that's how they got to talking about it. So when Jess Hilarious mentioned about how she inserted herself in regards to what T.S. Madison made on social media about the comment of feeling some kind of way because they was talking about people in big backs, I was like, okay, it wasn't really a dig or her inserting herself. She was just pretty much doing her job that she basically does in general. So now fast forward, hey Samantha, fast forward to I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but just to give you all that context, this is where things pick up at. And I'm going to add the video back and show y'all. So here it go.
What you keep calling for me?
Girl, there she go.
They call for me.
I don't understand.
Is Jess Hilarious. Why is the constant? Why do you constantly call for me? What you keep calling for me?
Girl, there she go. Girl, there she go.
I'm gonna put this on speaker. Okay,
Put it on speaker.
Miss Jess, I'm gonna start with you. Okay, and I'm finna start with you, Miss Hilarious, because you think you funny and you not. Now you had all ample opportunities to sit down, have a conversation, and get whatever's on your chest off of. We could have talked this hilarious to hilarious. We could have had conversation from hilarious bitches to hilarious bitches. We could have had a whole bunch of conversations, right? Now you tapped Charlamagne on his shoulder and asked him, what is she your friend? Did she call you up? Did she this and the other? No. But I tapped you on your shoulder and I hit you up and I text your phone and we FaceTime each other during the times when, because you still salty about that whole period stuff. And I have really been treading lightly on you because I don't want to come off as the angry tranny. And excuse all my trans sisters and brothers that's gonna be watching this or whatever. You're gonna hear me talking to these puss ass motherfucking hoes in layman's terms. I ain't talking to these hoes with correct terminology. Bitch, I'm finna talk to these puss ass motherfucking hoes in layman terms. All right. Charlamagne, when I came to the Breakfast Club, right? We chopped it up. We keyed. You know we ain't had no motherfucking pressure. You know this. We've never had pressure. We set up and we talked about before the cameras even started rolling how me and Kaya used to sit our motherfucking ass together and be roasting y'all and bitch how y'all thought it was funny. So you know we ain't got no pressure. So obviously you know that I was not threatening you. Me, what am I threatening you for when you talking about a whole big bad community that I'm also joking and saying I'm a part of the big bad community? So my whole thing is, girl, we already see that you let Miss Hilarious sit next to you over there, try to put jumper cables on your back, but because you are a smart man, you left Miss Hilarious out there in the land of the he's so the he's can eat her ass up, and here they are. Just we already know that the rumors have circulated around Baltimore that nigga named Chris that you was fucking and that you almost had a baby from and you didn't was fucking other niggas. So again, when I was supposed to light your ass up the very first time over that period shit, I was supposed to come in swinging like that, but I didn't. I chose a soft route because I was like, I don't want to have pressure with her, because we don't have no pressure. I don't want to have pressure with this broad because we don't have pressure. We just have a difference of opinion. But I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing here. You are transphobic. You are homophobic. You are those things. Then every single time that I try to give you an opportunity to very much so not go in that direction with you, you give me another opportunity to be like, damn, she just might be. I feel like that you're an ignorant bitch, and there are ignorant bitches that exist, and you have the right to be an ignorant bitch. And if you are what you are, stand on it, bitch. Just like I stand on it. I got titties at the motherfucking top and dick at the motherfucking bottom, bitch. And I don't play no games when anybody asks me any questions, bitch. And I don't identify as a female, bitch. I identify as a she-male. I identify as that. So there are no confusions about any of the situation. Just hilarious. Okay. Now, when I was talking to you before about you have some internal shit that you gotta break free from, we all hear the things about you hoes out in the motherfucking streets, just like y'all. We hear about each other. So we hear about you hoes out in the streets, and a lot of you hoes that be having issues with the punks and the trannies and the faggots because one of y'all niggas done got fucked and sucked on or done got cummed in. And bitch, you from a city? Where's she from? Baltimore.
Baltimore.
You know them Baltimore niggas fucking suck more punks, bitch, than in these niggas in Atlanta. And a lot of you hoes get trapped up in it. And not just that, you also have masculine energy. You are a pretty girl. I have said this even when I was on Tamron Hall's show. even when I don't occupy all those spaces, and I was like, I felt her plight. I have felt her plight. I have felt her plight. I understand that women feel like they're being policed by womanhood and being inclusive to trans women, and they don't want to do this and the other. You can check any interview. I ain't never came at your neck. And I came to you. To you. I ain't get on the internet doing X, Y, and Z. I came to you. Bitch, you know when we say caving in the face, or what, we're from two different areas, but we know that I wasn't threatening Charlemagne the God. For what? For what? See, the thing about it is, what all the people over there that want to jump on your pussy lips is that they're sitting here because I'm a tranny. They want to sit here and overlook the fact that you, as a woman who just almost a year ago, if it not was a year ago, was calling for men to protect us. Men to protect us. And then you sitting right next to a nigga who's talking about a woman, bitch, and you jumped in on the bandwagon, help dragging her. Right? Come on, we ain't even really done, right? Then you sit over here with your small back, right? With your small, tiny back that you have, bitch, and you let Country Wayne play in your face on fucking Shannon Sharp show and tell you to
Okay,
leave him
hold
alone.
on. That's
So
enough.
now
That's
you
enough.
bitch,
That's enough.
big
Hold
back
on. Hold
holes
on.
and small back holes.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So y'all seen that. So basically, as you can see, and it was like 7 more minutes, but I ain't got 7 more minutes to spare. But it was a long, very long read. And you know, I was like everything was fair. There was a fair read up until the point when she started talking about just hilarious exes and stuff. That's when I felt like it kind of became personal, and I kind of felt like TS Madison started kind of veering off a little bit. First of all, before I played Jess's, because Jess Hilarious came back and gave her last rebuttal. My thing about it is I feel like personally that I don't know, to me, knowing that I have an issue with somebody on a nationally wide syndicated or show, whatever you want to call it, like the Breakfast Club, me personally being TS Madison and being that TS Madison does have a huge presence in social media terms, and as she says, she is everywhere, okay, in everything, okay. I personally would have not even brought up or even touched or even addressed anything that would have put me in a crossfire with Just Hilarious. And the only reason why I say that is because of the fact that being that, you know, Jess is new on the Breakfast Club, and it does seem like that Charlemagne and Jess have became very close allies and like sister and brother. You can tell by just the social media stuff. You can tell they really become like tight. Me personally, I would have not even addressed that. Okay, when it came to T.S. Madison making a comment about, oh, Charlemagne, do we all need to get together and go upside Charlemagne's head for what he said about big backs? Even though I know without a shadow of a doubt, T.S. Madison did not mean anything as far as in the intentional way that it was trying to, you know, make seem upon, because Jess and them had mentioned about, oh, you know, if it was the other way around and we had said something like that to the regards the LGBTQ ABCDE. Well, she didn't put ABCD. I'm just kind of pretty much exaggerating the truth. But ABCDEFGHIJKLMNOP community would have been all on us, okay, in rallies and stuff, because we made a comment about somebody that was a part of the ABCDEFGHIJKLMNOP community as it pertains to going upside somebody's head or caving in somebody's head and stuff like that. So that's why I say, with that being said, you know, personally, I would have not even said anything because of the fact that I would have known, just me being T.S. Madison in my thought process, that it would have initiated something, or it would have struck a nerve, or it would have caused something, because you can see that Jess Hilarious and Charlemagne definitely have some kind of bond, okay? Now, do I feel like, before I go further in the video, of the next video, that was it right for just to insert herself and be like, oh, why did TS Madison why did you even sit here and come in on this conversation in the first place? I do feel like that she was wrong, Jess was wrong in terms of that there, because of the fact that, once again, TS Madison, this is what she does. She talk about a lot of different topics. But like I said, I'm a person that looks at every different perspective. There's no dog in the fight for me. So I look at both sides. I don't think that Jess should have brought it up or touched upon, when it came to, as far as talking about TS Madison in terms of what she got to say or how she's always inserting herself into the middle of something. And I also don't feel like that TS Madison should have, just for this particular situation. And I know it's kind of hard to avoid, because it's almost like one of those things when you think about having friends that you got to talk about in the community, even though you know that it can cause all kind of riffraff and tension and stuff like that. But it's going to happen anyway at some point. Kind of what Wendy Williams would always say in regards to, she would come and do her show and go home and not really try to be friends with any of the people that came on like her guests, because she knew she had to talk about them. It's kind of the same way with TS Madison. Eventually, she will have to talk about people that she may know, such as Charlamagne, in the community. So with that being said, but because of the fact that Jess Hilarious was there, for me, because I'm not confrontational, but I know that TS Madison is, and I also know that TS Madison loves to say that when somebody hits you, you can't tell them how to hit you back. I just personally would have not, if it was me, I would have not even touched upon of giving any room for Jess to say anything about as far as her when it came in regards to that. But since we're here, and now that she has responded back to Jess Hilarious like I knew that she would, the stuff that she was saying, some of it was fair, but when she started talking about the stuff, which is where I stopped it at, about Country Wayne, about Shannon Sharp, and the stuff that was said on that live, she was talking about Chris, which is one of the other dudes that Jess used to talk to, I guess, in Baltimore, and things like that. I stopped it there for y'all. I've seen the whole thing. If you want to see the whole thing, you can go back on her channel and see the whole thing. But I kind of feel like that, and once again, I understand TS love to say you can't tell somebody how to hit you back because they hit first, and that's understandable. But the thing I wish for TS Madison before I go to the last video, TS Madison kind of reminds me of the same thing when I think of Diana Williams from DD4L, excuse me. I love them as single individuals and who they are in their personality. But I don't feel like that every single thing deserves a rebuttal, or sometimes silence is best. Like, is it a must that you must go off on every single person that comes for you? Like, at some point, where does the maturity, as far as come in at when it comes to, and I know that drama creates views and stuff like that, but it's just for me. I just don't feel like that at some point when you get to a certain level of stardom, everything does not deserve a rebuttal. Like, you have to learn how to control your emotions. Okay. And coming from someone that is very emotional, I remind myself of that. Just because a person says something about you, it does not mean that you have to sit here and clap back and go into a whole 13-minute rant. Now you wondering why your blood pressure is so high and why you got all kind of issues when the doctor come back and say that you got blood pressure problems. That's because you getting into it with every hoe on the street. So for my thing, if it was me, I personally would not be always having a rebuttal for everything. If somebody says something in your comments, you got a rebuttal. If somebody says something about you on social media, there's a rebuttal. Okay. There's nothing wrong with saying, oh, well, when somebody hits you, don't tell them how to respond back or clap back. But we also have to learn to play chess and not checkers. Okay. And when I say play chess and not checkers, what I mean by that is the fact that you have to learn how to sometimes just be quiet, okay, and let things play out. Because I'm a person that always believe in you reap what you sow. So you don't worry about the get back with other people. You just focus on what you got going on with your projects and what you got going on, because you can't worry about and keep looking at stuff behind you and distractions and all kind of other stuff around you. You got to worry about focusing on what you have to focus on as a person, because if you stay focusing on always work, and this is one thing that irks me the most about TS Madison. Like I'm telling you, this is not a video to bash anybody, Jess Hilarious or TS Madison. I love them both. But the thing about TS Madison is that any hoe out here can tell exactly her biggest insecurity and weak spot. And when you have the kind of stardom that TS Madison has, because she is very influential, in terms of very influential in terms of like social media. When you have the kind of star power that TS Madison has, you have to remind yourself that you cannot give people the ammunition to attack you. And everybody knows out there, because of the fact that she makes it so obvious and she talks about it so much, is her finances. It's always been a discussion and a thing of her finances all the time. Whether it be, I got to let you know how much my car cost that I paid for. I got to let you know how much I got paid for this certain role or certain movie role or certain deal. I got to let you know that I'm staying in a house that costs over $1 million. And I got another house over there in Conyers that costs $500,000. It's like everything has to have a monetary value and price on it. And when you have people that always have, and maybe it's just me because I was raised in a thing, you don't tell everybody your business. And some things you have to learn to keep yourself. Even though I'm not a Virgo, and they say that Virgos are supposedly, private people. But in Beyonce, and even though I don't know who else to use, but Beyonce comes to mind of this. You don't never see Beyonce talking about every single thing that she has going on, because there's no need to. People can see that you're very much well off. People can see that you very much have things going for yourself. Let the things speak for you. The Bible says, let the work that I have done speak for me. Biblical sense says in general, let the work that I have done speak for me. Okay. So me personally, I feel like that everything that's not deserved a rebuttal, or you have to always try to overcompensate, because I feel like that with TS Madison, even though you can tell that she's very much alpha energy, very, but much like independent person and stuff like that, but you can tell where the insecurity lies. And everything does not have to be announced or given a rebuttal, because of the fact that somebody else may say something about you. It's not what others say about you, it's what you respond to. And what you respond to is what lets people know where to hit you the hardest at. So when it comes to this Just Hilarious thing to draw back at, let me play devil's advocate. Let me just go on the record and just say, let's just say that Just Hilarious intentionally meant to mention T.S. Madison's name because she knew it would get a rise out of her. The best thing that she could have done was to politely move around and keep it moving and not even worry about what was said. And she can keep talking about whatever she wanted to talk about as far as in regards to Charlemagne, but she could have never mentioned Just Hilarious' name, and that could have been it. It don't make what Just Hilarious did right. It's just saying that you just got to understand how to move. And I would say the same for Jess. Everything, sometimes you just got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Sometimes you got to know when to speak and when not to speak. Okay, because everything, like what you don't want to become is the person that every time we turn around, you always in some drama. Because the way I look at that is that I think of that as being, though, you know how growing up as kids and your mama will always say when one person do something, everybody get an ass whooping. It's kind of like that thing of where I look at it in the context of between these two. It don't matter who wrong or right. Everybody getting an ass whooping because all of y'all too grown at y'all big age to be doing all this back and forth anyways. So I look at it in that context when it comes to like everything does not deserve an argument and being combative with one another all the time. And that irks me, especially with TS Madison, because she does it. I can speak on her more so with that because I see it a lot with that on how and the way that she does it. And even though I know that I'm not like the biggest person that follows her, unlike some of her like really hardcore fans. But I even see people in the comments that really like ride or die for her strong, even say the same thing. Don't even worry about responding to certain people on social media because they already know that's what they want you to do anyways. Okay, leave it alone. Focus on your bag. So with that being said, I wanted to say that before I go over to the last video and to what Jess made regarding TS Madison, which was the last rebuttal. Hold on one second. Hold on, y'all.
You want to go down memory lane?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right.
I don't
then.
even want you to talk about what you're about to talk about. I don't know what you're about to talk about, but I feel like I know what you're
Well,
about to talk
a
about.
lot of people. And
What happened?
there was just for the mess. I knew this was real.
On the Breakfast Club.
I know they know the difference. Keep it a stack.
Okay, so yesterday, we obviously ruffled some feathers, and
What happened?
there was not what happened. You want to go down memory lane?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right.
I don't
then.
even want you to talk about what you're about to talk about. I don't know what you're about to talk about, but I feel like I know what you're
Well,
about to talk
a
about.
lot of people don't like when you talk about things that they don't want you to talk about, but you do it, don't you? So let's stop playing. All right. So TS Madison, she decided to address me on PHAGTAWK.
What?
Don't
Fact
you?
Talk.
No.
That's the name of the thing that she said.
Oh, yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's the name of the
Yeah,
show.
that's the name of the show.
That is the name of the show.
Yeah, that's it's called Fact Talk, and that's what it is. And she sat up there with a sidekick of hers, and up there look like Batman and Robin, just talking, running their mouth. Y'all can refer to her page if y'all would like to go hear what she said. I would dare not play that on this radio here. But all in all, she thought she ate that. Like she thought she ate with that one, but apparently she eating all the wrong people. That's why she's still hungry. Now she said she had a big back. That's what she said. That's what you wanted to run with.
They were
That's
upset with the
fine.
big back comments
They
that
were
Charlamagne made.
upset
Okay.
about the big back comments.
Nobody's really upset about the big back comments.
No, but she was more so upset that I didn't like the fact that she insinuated like an attack.
That she was gonna.
Are we going to cave his face in?
Yes.
Let me know.
Mhm.
Because if you or even I were to say that to her,
Mhm.
it would be a crime.
That's
You
true.
know, on and offline, Now, saying the shoe fits would be if the shoe fits, wear it. That's the saying. But you took the shoe, you stuffed your fat ass foot in it, and your toes couldn't breathe. So, in other words, you reached, And I know they say a hit dog will holler, but
Now, before I go any further, just to let you know, when she mentioned about stuffing her foot into a shoe, that was a read and a jab. Continue. Just saying.
you ain't even a dog that we was calling. You're not.
So what do we do to smooth this over, Jess?
Excuse me, please. She's the confused pig in a blanket. You are not the dog.
Another jab. Go ahead.
You are confused ass pig in a blanket. Now, I never misgendered you, but you decided to do that. She misgendered me. I never misgendered her.
But why is the gender thing even coming up? I thought this was about big backs.
Listen, that's what I thought it was about that too. But she started talking about my exes and all of that stuff. Now, what that got to do with your back? Like, what do they? She was talking about my ex, Chris, cheating on me with big back women. Yes, he did.
Can we all just meet at the gym
Can you shut up?
and relax?
Shoot.
I'm confused how the big back conversation got into all of this.
Because she used the situation to say things that she been wanted to say to me from the first time when she jumped out there online and she was made to look like a fool.
Now, let me stop it right there and let me come back in real quick. So that's the reason why I stopped the video prior to when it came to TS Madison, because she did say everything that Jess said that she said about her exes and stuff. She did say that. And for me, here's my thing when it comes to reading one-on-one. If you're gonna read somebody, you got to stay on track with your read. You can't be going off sidetrack. And I know, once again, I understand the motto. You don't tell nobody how to hit back when they hit first and all of this stuff. TS Madison, I get. But you gave her room when you went off the course and you started talking about irrelevant stuff, because that's what really let someone know that the issue you really upset about has to do with something that you had a beef with them about a while back. Now you done gave them room and ammunition to completely just lay you out, even if they may have also still felt some kind of animosity from way back when, but they didn't sit here and demonstrate it or talk about it. They just stayed on topic. But the fact that you went sidebar, that's where you went wrong at. Just my opinion, okay? My opinion. As Baxter Braxton say, my opinion, that's where you went wrong at. I understand you can't tell nobody how to hit and what to say and all this other stuff, but sometimes being the Nene leak, what I call the Nene leaks syndrome, which is all loud and just all over the place just to make yourself seem intimidating, ain't always the answer. And the way Jess came back with this read, it was I'm just gonna let it. For me, if I was TS Madison, I would just let it go at this point and let it ride, because she definitely laid into TS Madison very gracefully, but still kept it to the point and straight. Take a look. Continue.
That she is. She was made to look like a fool, and that's it. And how dare you? How dare you say he hilarious and yeah, all this man stuff projecting, you know.
Who's hilarious?
No, he hilarious. That of Jess
is what she
Hilarious.
called me.
He
She said,
Oh,
you got all this
slow this morning, bro.
You got all this being slow. He acting stupid.
Oh.
She like, you got all this big nigga energy. You wouldn't know that better than I would know that, because you live it every day. So
No.
that's not what we're gonna do here. Okay?
No.
You live it every day. And that energy will never be ladylike. So don't play with me. I keep telling y'all don't have to keep my name out your mouth, but y'all will not play with me. Watch it. And Kaya would be so disappointed in you. You done took so many reading lessons and you still ain't even talking about you read. Write it over. Because that did not work.
Is that why you text me yesterday and called me a butch queen?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie though. What did I reply back? Because it took me a little minute because I had to look up the definition.
Yeah.
Now
so you
don't
look-
ask. No, listen. Now listen, because we're gonna say full names. Full names. Transsexual Madison. Do not call nobody else to try to get me on the phone to hash things out after you see that this ain't going your way. Because this did not have to be up like this, not have to end up like this. This is another horrible decision made. Okay? Don't call Jason Lee, because that's not my friend. Do not call Mona. Don't call me white girl. That's not my friend either. Don't call nobody who we mutually know to try to talk to me after this, because it's done. Stop calling me your sister. You are not my sister. You're not even my brother. Let's stop. Moving on.
So can I call you a butch queen?
I was kind of flattered when I read what the definition was.
What is a butch queen?
Y'all can do this on your own time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So moving on.
Because the one I Googled ain't the one that's coming up now.
So we have the second annual Black Effect Podcast
Hey!
Festival.
Drop a bomb.
All right.
And the tickets will be dropping.
When she said, let me go back here. Hold on. When she said, "You're not even my sister or my brother," listen, the benediction. Nothing else can be said, because I feel like that everything she said at this point, it is what it is. Because I feel like that, once again, you say you can't tell anybody how to hit back. She definitely hit you back strong. Okay, she hit you back like cognac. I ain't gonna lie, TS, she hit your ass back like cognac, okay? She hit your ass back like gin and juice, okay? She hit your ass back like 1994 Mary J. Blige, okay? Out there strung out on the drugs, okay? She hit you back like Casey and JoJo, okay? She definitely clapped back on your ass, okay? She gave you the clap. She clapped you so hard. Now, with that being said, at this point, if it was me, I would just let it ride, because of the fact that what else can you sit here and say behind this? Everything else at this point is gonna make you look very much so combative, and now here it is, you back and forth. We once again, all of us back in once again in an argument back with one another over some nonsense that really should have not even been an issue to begin with, which is the one reason why I really don't like discussing and dealing with social media when it comes to certain things, because it's just like, why can't we all just get along? Like, you done said what you had to say, she done said what she had to say, let it go, let it ride, because at this point it's bridge over troubled water, and ain't nothing else we could sit here and do but let it ride. But she definitely gathered your ass together, TS Madison. There's no way in the world that anybody out there can say that what I just played was not a read, because she definitely read her for 4 weddings and 4 funerals, not just one, 4 funerals. Okay. And I'm not even laughing about it because it's really not funny, just because of the fact that I knew it would come to this, because I know what kind of energy Jess Hilarious gives off as well. But I did want to say one thing. Hey Vaughn, when it comes to everybody always want to say, oh, this person is transphobic, oh, this person is this person is that. That I don't know. It's something that sticks in my head when people say that, because just for one thing, most of her whole squad, I don't know about maybe prior to, well, I don't know about now, but I definitely know up until what, 2 or 3 weeks ago, or maybe longer, what, 2 months ago at Max, that I seen most of her squad is a part of the LGBTQIA community. So I'm just kind of confused how she is transphobic, because of the fact that, I mean, I definitely feel like that there could be some animosity with you, with TS Madison. But in terms of her being transphobic, that's a hard pill to swallow, because and I understand some of the comments that she made a while back, but you have to also keep in mind she also mentioned about, as far as people labeling her in terms as um as a man, like she mentioned about she went on a date, or it was something she mentioned about she went on a date or something, and somebody labeled her, or somebody thought that she was a man, or they tried to get with her because they thought that she was a man. So that is just experience. And there was something that Ayanna Van Zant said that was so profound in one of her shows, and I wish I could like find the clip, but she said that everybody's experience is their own. You cannot validate or tell somebody how to feel about certain things in situations when it's their own experience or what they have experienced internally for themselves. It does not mean the person may be what they are experiencing. It could just very well be a thing of where the person feels this way because this certain situation, which could be triggering to them or trauma, could just make them feel whatever their experience is. So therefore, when you bring up certain things on, somebody, whether somebody is a man or a woman, they may have different views. Does it make them as far as phobia or phobic of a situation because they may have different views? I wouldn't go and stretch it that far as to say that. Once again, everybody's experience is everybody's experience. The same way with TS Madison. Can't nobody tell her how to feel with certain things when it comes to cisgender women, even though she has stated many times that she does not have a problem with cisgender women. But she also has had some experiences and things like that there with the cis community as it pertains to that. And because of that, I always feel like that's why she is on the defense a lot. So there you have it. That's all I got. You all let me know what you all think. I did want to put this wasn't even supposed to have been this, but I know since we were talking about it and we're already here, I wanted to take a really quick sidebar and put in here just to show you all. Listen, normally I'm not the person that want to show and tell everything, but for those of you all that know, I had surgery 3 days ago. Horrible, terrible. Listen, when I tell you, this morning I felt so bad, but thanks to lidocaine, I don't know what is in lidocaine, but that's some good stuff. When I tell you I was in so much pain this overnight, for the last 2 nights, it has been terrible to sleep. But after a hot shower and some lidocaine and good medication, wink, I think I'm gonna live to tell the story, because I'm sitting here and as y'all can tell, I'm Gucci for right now, as long as these meds don't wear off. But look, so for those of you all that don't know, I was gonna put this in a separate video, but we on live, and I don't know if I'm gonna get back on tomorrow. So let me go ahead and share with y'all now. I have sickle cell disease. It's a chronic illness, and Because of that, I have to have a port, basically what I call a chemo port, the same thing that chemo patients use. Well, I've had my port for 10 years, my previous port for 10 years. It was leaking inside of my body. I kept trying to tell everybody it was leaking inside of my body. Nobody believed me. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I don't even feel like getting into all the riffraff of it all, just whatever. So because of that I was finally able to prove my case to the doctor. They agreed to replace the port, but they have scarred me in the worst way. As you see, I still got bandages. I don't even know if I'm supposed to even be showing this on YouTube, but it is what it is. See, there go one scar. They didn't do too bad of an incision. But if you all can give some recommendations, somebody said you can put Vaseline on it to prevent keloids, because I really don't want a keloid as a result of having this scar. But for now, I got bandages over it, and it is still really sore, but the lidocaine has helped tremendously. Ugh. And then this is the other side where they cut me. So they cut me in two areas. They had to take the port out on the left side and put a new one in on the right. I always get them mixed up. But yeah, so it's just been a lot going on. And I really been feeling like crap. And I was just like, what would make me feel better? And I was like, get on live and make a video. Do what you like doing. Don't let this stuff stop you. Get up. Like I had been in bed for the last 72 hours. Get your ass up, Tristan, and get back to work. Okay? So here I am trying to do something productive with my life. As you can see, I'm still trying to move and things like that. I'm almost unpacked. My apartment is coming together nicely. I don't know if this will be my recording spot, but it's a little nice, little cute recording spot. But real quick before I go, because I wasn't going to talk about this, but this is kind of an extension. Thank you, Vaughn. This is kind of an extension from another video I was intending on making, but because it's kind of an old topic and I don't really like doing old topics, I was just like, let me just make it a continuation since it's alive and not really a video. Excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. I just ate. But basically, I wanted to talk about the Wendy Williams, or Where is Wendy Williams documentary, because it was just some things in there that really troubled me. So it was a 4-part documentary. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get some chopstick. It was a 4-part documentary, and 2 parts came on from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and that was on Saturday night. Yeah, that was Saturday. Hold on, y'all. My lips too moist to put chapstick on. Pet peeve of mine is number 1. I hate dry lips. I hate feeling dry lips. Okay, so real quick, how many minutes do I got? Okay, 53 minutes. I'm going to be on for an hour. So I got 7 minutes to tell this story. So I saw the 4-part documentary, and it was really interesting, but it was also very hard to watch. Hey, Antoinette. Hey, Antoinette. I have thought about writing a book. But I always thought that my story, I've thought about writing a book, but it's just certain parts that I would want to feel comfortable enough to put in there. And I would be worried, before I used to be worried about how it would affect the people that I'm writing about. But I feel like in order to tell my story, I would have to be transparent. So I think it's just me waiting on the moment of where I can really sit down and come up with the chapters and how I want to put it together. But I have thought about that. But in regards to the Wendy Williams documentary as well, while I'm thinking about it, so it was really hard to watch. Now I recall I had looked at the View, and I saw where they had talked about, the similarities or the therefore lack thereof similarities of Britney and her, what they call conservatorship, I think is what it's called, guardian, and how Wendy Williams and her guardian. But the only thing different with this situation is that Wendy Williams' family is supposedly trying to look in terms of her, or have her best interest when it comes to at heart of things, when it comes to like her money, her well-being, mental well-being, and things like that. But it was just really hard to watch, to get through the documentary and sit through it and really pay attention, because I have watched Wendy Williams since, like, I don't think I watched her the first season, and I really didn't even know Wendy Williams back in her radio days. But ever since like maybe the second season, I definitely have been a faithful watcher. Like Wendy Williams was like, that was my go-to. As a matter of fact, I used to watch the Wendy Williams show so much that I used to also watch the after shows, which was really like where the gag. Now that's really what the gag was the after show. The show of Wendy Williams on the network TV was cute, especially the 20 minutes of like the first 20 or 15 minutes of Hot Topics. But if you ever like really been a huge Wendy watcher, she used to have these like fabulous after shows. And I mean, it was just like everything. She had her hairstylist Antoine, rest in peace to him. And then there was Morel Hollis. He was a makeup artist. Then you had, I can't think of the lady's first name, but then you had like, it went from being her to being oh gosh, somebody tell me, it's going to come to me. But she had like three stylists. I know Willie was like one of her last stylists, but she also had Memsor. I think that's what he was called, Memsor. So like it was a whole, yes, Vaughn, like it was a whole situation like the Wendy Williams after show. So seeing Wendy in the state that she was, being forgetful, being senile, and the only reason that I can resonate with that is because I've seen signs of like early dementia. And I think they said that she had like frontal lobe or something like that, dementia or something. But I've seen what that looks like in rare form. So it was just really like triggering to watch just how she is complete. Like she's still, there's parts of her that you can tell is still Wendy, but there's other parts that it's just like, what in the world happened? And I keep asking myself, a lot of people keep saying that because of her long-term usage, battling drug addiction and stuff, that's what kind of led to what we're seeing now. But to be honest with you, I think that a lot of it comes from, her husband pretty much having a baby outside of their marriage and the way her husband did her. And it's almost one of those things of where I think about Whitney and Bobby. But people used to always say that, Bobby was bad for Whitney. But then when all of that kind of fell apart, it's just like Whitney was no longer here. And now it's just like I think about Wendy, and I think about how her situation turned out when she pretty much removed Kevin Hunter from like being executive producer on the talk show. Then she was missing days from the talk show. It was just like everything went downhill. And I really think that woman had some kind of breakdown and just never came back from it, which I think I think the drugs could have played a portion of it, but I also feel like that she could have pretty much just had a breakdown that she never really came back from, because you can really tell looking at that documentary, it was just like, it was like she was there, but you didn't see no life in her eyes. And even though Wendy has always had these bulging eyes because of my mind always wants to draw a blank. But what's the syndrome when you have the bulging eyes? Missy Elliott has it. Somebody will put it down there in the comments. But she had that same thing where her eyes, they like protrude or whatever you want to call it. But it was thyroid, something, thyroid, I think that's what it's called. Thank you, Vaughn. Thyroid disease. And even though she's always had that, but this was like a whole different kind of like her eyes protruding. It was almost like her eyes was like this, but it was just like it was no life. And like she's never, I mean, even when she has been like this, like you can still see the life in her face. But now it's just like when you see this, it's just like you can see that there is no life, there is no activity. It's just like everything is just paused and like on ice. And then yes, and then you had the grave. Graves' disease. That's the other thing. But you could see it was still, even like I said, even aside from all of that she battled, she's is just something that just looked at like lifeless about her, like almost as though she was a robot. And I don't, when people keep, this whole, it became this whole thing where people kept saying Wendy is broke, Wendy is broke. I don't think it became a thing of Wendy being broke. I just think it became a thing of where Wendy's money was tied up because of this conservatorship and this person being her guardian, which is not her family. And because of that, we will never know where the money went at. We don't know if the money is there. We don't know if her original like wealth, as far as what she is worth, we don't know if that's still there. We don't know. Like at this point, we don't even know how much Wendy is worth, to be honest with you. Hell, I don't even think Wendy know how much she is worth, to be honest with you at this point. We do know that she had some kind of like 3-movie, a 3-part deal with Lifetime. And I guess this was like her final commitment to where she would, do a documentary. I don't ever think it was to be on this level, but a part of me, I guess because I had hope, I kept thinking to myself, maybe this is all just a prank, just some kind of like publicity stunt. But what really made me be like, no, this is for real, because once again, if you are a Wendy watcher from day one, you would know that Wendy would have never been seen on camera taking off her wig and showing her real hair. She was so adamant about that. Like, she was real adamant about that. Even on the after show, she would be like, no, y'all not gonna see me ever with my hair, with my wig off. And the fact that we seen like her hair and how thin it was, I just kept thinking to myself, there's no way in the world the Wendy Williams that we know would have allowed her wig to be off on camera. I don't care what, she would have not allowed that. Anybody that knows her know that was like a big thing with her, is to never show her real hair. I think she even talked about it on the talk show. So and then you had the manager, I can't think of his name. What was the manager's name, y'all? Sorry, these meds are making my thought process cloudy. But you had the manager. People say that they kind of feel like that the manager is kind of like not really good for her. I don't know. The manager, maybe it could just be me, but the manager kind of reminds me of her ex-husband, just with his mannerisms and stuff of how he is. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but I'm not really feeling the manager in terms of that either. Like, it's something about him that don't sit right. And I definitely did not appreciate him when Wendy went and took a trip down to Florida or wherever she went, and he told Wendy that she need to get her ass back to New York. How you gonna talk to her like that? Okay, I don't care if she does have the frontal lobe dementia or whatever the fact. How in the world do you have the audacity to even talk to her like that? Then I'm thinking in my head of like, where is all y'all keep talking about the whole liquor thing and her not being able to drink liquor, but there's liquor in her apartment. How is she getting the liquor? Like, who is letting her have the liquor? Like, it was just a lot of things that I don't know. And then the publicist or whatever you call her, assistant, I don't think it was Sean, the one that Alex didn't like and had told her to leave the apartment. I also, she gave me like what you call that? Gosh, hold on. What do you call it? Like an intern. She was giving me very much intern vibes. Like, it was really like giving me really like intern vibes. Like, what is she doing here? Is she even experienced? Does she even know what she's doing? Like, I didn't really understand a lot of her purpose, if that makes sense. It just seemed like she was another add-on that somebody just put there in the place. So when Alex came and expressed her concerns, which is Wendy's niece, and once again, I keep going back to the original. I keep going back to the original show, because if you watch the original show, you would know that Alex was like very much, Wendy was very like a huge part of Alex, and like her upbringing, career, her becoming a news reporter, all of that stuff. Like, she even bought Alex her first car. I remember that. I don't know if she mentioned it on the Wendy show or the Wendy after show, but like Alex, her niece, they were very close like this. So I know for a fact that if anybody has her best interest, Alex definitely has her best interest at heart. And that's why I just feel like that, you know, I understand the point of a conservatorship, but I feel like the family needs to be involved to a certain extent, because the conservatorship, to me, I feel like it's just somebody looking at your life almost like what a therapist get paid to do. A therapist get paid to listen to you and stuff like that, but they're not going to ever give you the kind of nurturing or the kind of care that you need from your actual loved ones. This is somebody that's getting paid, I'm quite sure, to be her, you know, as far as authority over her finances and like big life decisions, I guess. And I just don't like that for Wendy, because it just seems like that Wendy, she just was not in a good place on that documentary. I see Vaughn said, but they knew she had liquor, but didn't check. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Cal said that she's a new lady in my hometown. It's crazy. Like it's just all crazy. But I just felt so bad. It just really like hurted me. And I know everybody's like, oh, that's what Wendy get because she always used to talk about people, but that's what she was paid to do. Like she was truly good at what she did. Like I feel like on this earth, we all have a talent, and that was her talent. I mean, she could talk on the radio for 4 hours straight back when she used to do radio late at night or whatever at 98.7, I think is what it was called, or Kiss or something like that. So it's just what she did. That's what she did. It's just like she would talk and she would pull you in and keep you intrigued with the stories and the hot topics and all of that, and the whole, you know, glitz and glam and the wigs and stuff like that. Like it was a whole situation, like everything. So for people to say, oh, this is just karma, like I don't believe that. I believe that sometimes things in life happen that you just don't bounce back from. It's just hard for you to bounce back. You can be the strongest person, but there's always that one, like you can be the strongest person, but there's always that one situation that makes you 1 second away from losing it. And when I say losing it, I mean mentally, physically, everything. And I believe that Wendy just had a lot. She lost her mom. That was another huge part of her life. We've seen a lot of her mom on the show. We've seen a lot of her mom on the after show. So it was just like she had like one thing after the other happening back to back. And coming from somebody that, you know, I deal with a lot, I've taken a lot of hits. I can understand how that can take a toll on a person. Like trauma, the human mind is like a rubber band. This is what I think of it as. The human mind is like the strongest thing in your body when I look at it in terms of what it can withstand. And it's almost like a rubber band. A rubber band is very hard to break. Like you really got to really stretch it in order to break it. But if you stretch it enough, especially if it's a thick rubber band, and so when I'm thinking of the human mind, when you stretch it and you keep stretching it, and then you keep stretching it, and then you keep stretching it, and then even after all of that, you keep stretching it, and it's like it's everything is going out. It's not anything ever making it shrink or getting any better. It's just you're stretching it every time something happens. It's stretching it. Nothing ever gets addressed. Okay, you're stretching it. When people suppress things and try to be strong, it's you're stretching your mind because you're trying to hold it together. So eventually it's like at some point that rubber band is going to break. It may not break initially, but if you stretch that sucker enough, the tension just from, you know, you pulling on it, it will eventually snap. And I feel like that's what happened to Wendy. She was carrying a lot of load. Like you are responsible for a talk show, which basically you are responsible for people's jobs. If you don't show up to work and nobody else pretty much has a job, okay, it's just like you got that. Then you don't have peace at home. You got a child. Back then she was having issues with little Kev, and I think they had to send him away overseas because he had like some kind of like habit or issue or drug issue allegedly. But it was something they had to send him overseas for because he had got like something happened with him, and they was private about it. But she dealt with that with her child. Then you got the husband. He out here buying up, spending all up the church's money, buying a whole Ferraris and Bentleys and Porsche and all this other shit, a house down the block from you, all kind of stuff. Then he done turned around and had a baby with the woman, okay, a girl at that, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that was like something that meant a lot to her as far as a girl having a girl. So it was just like a lot. Then losing her mom, it was just like one thing after the other just kept happening. And it was just like at some point, synthetic weed. Thank you, Bond. And that was the thing. It was just like at some point, I just don't think that she really ever had a chance to really just bounce back, because when you have people that depend on you, such as her talk show, I really think that she did not want to let the public down, because if you notice in this documentary, they talked a lot about how, she really wanted to get back on TV. And I felt like TV was her safe haven, but it was also the thing that I feel like kind of put the final nail in the coffin. So it was just like, all of that. So now to see, like, it's something that you can see, it gives new meaning to, you can have the world, gain it all, and lose your soul in the process. And I think that statement does not resonate with anybody more than it does Wendy Williams, because she gained everything, but she lost herself in the process. So because of losing yourself in the process, it's like at this point, what do you have? And I just felt like that she just never really found herself again. And now what we see now is what we have as a result. Yeah, it could very well be dementia, but I really feel like that a lot of that came from, she just really like lost it, but she never bounced back. Like you can literally lose your mind to the point of where you can't even function as a human. Like your mind is not remembering stuff. You can't keep up with certain things. You're becoming forgetful. You're just all kind of weird stuff start happening, because once again, it's the rubber band effect. You don't stretch it so much to where there's the what they call the elasticity. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but there's no like stretching it, but then it bouncing back. You can stretch it, but then you can get it back. Like it just got stretched, but it never came back. The elastic, it just never came back. So I just felt like she lost her mind, and that was just that. But it was so hard watching that documentary. And I think that Lifetime had mentioned that she initially Lifetime mentioned that they was initially, like, when they started seeing, they recorded the documentary, but this wasn't a direction of what you see. The documentary came out in 4 parts, or where it was supposed, or 2 parts rather, I guess a 2-part night, of where it was supposed to have been what it been. But then once they started seeing Wendy and how she was acting, they made a decision. They was like, either we're going to continue rolling the cameras, or that at this point we cannot stop the cameras. We have to keep the cameras rolling. And I just think that they made an executive decision to keep the cameras rolling. Whether they thought this was going to turn out for the worst or for the best, I don't think they really knew. But I think that at this point they just decided, hey, she still has a contract to fulfill. Technically, this is what she would have wanted, but just not in this manner. We don't really know what to do, but we have this footage. Let us make a decision on her behalf. And I guess it was made on her behalf, and somebody had to give it clearance. But I just didn't see the point. If this was supposed to have helped Wendy at all, maybe it helped her in the sense of showing her that her family is needed to be around her more than whoever the people are around her now. But when I seen Morel Hollis, who was her makeup artist, a former makeup artist, posted a post on his Instagram, and pretty much he posted like a whole compilation of clips back from the after show, saying something like better days or something like that. I knew right then that this is not something that Wendy would have wanted because he knows Wendy. Okay, he was a makeup artist. Okay, he's seen her. He's seen her at her most vulnerable state, along with the hairstylist. I'm quite sure as well, Antoine, who's now deceased. Rest in peace. So I'm quite sure that when I seen his post and just seeing that he made a comment underneath somebody else's post agreeing that this documentary should have never came out. I think Funky Dineva had said something, and then he put agreed under it. That let me know right there that Wendy Williams would have not, the Wendy Williams that we know would have not wanted this documentary to come out in the way that it did. And so there we are. There we have it. It is what it is. You know, at this point, what can we do about it? Vaughn said, and her team let it go for almost 2 years. They never took her for medical care. Yeah, it's just sad. It's just really sad. And I think as a present tense, she's now like in some kind of care facility where she's like is some kind of like it's some kind of therapy facility that she's in now, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that she does have more contact with her family. But like I think Alex had mentioned on The View, which is her niece last week, that you can call her. No, she can call you, but you can't call her, if I'm not mistaken. So, but they said that, you know, she's sounding like the old Wendy, and things like that, and that the family is hopeful. But the only thing I have with that is that how many times have we heard, oh, Wendy Williams is sounding like herself again, and she'll be back on, you know, she'll be back before you know it. And then we see her, and then it's just like a completely different Wendy. So yeah, I'm not saying that miracles can't happen. I'm just saying that there was a lot to process. So, you know, it was a lot to process. Yeah, her son was the only person that said anything about dementia. Her team said nothing. Listen, at the end of the day, it's just something about that them people that she got up in New York around her that's, you know, to help sell her apartment. It's just that whole thing just don't sit well with me. Them people, it's something about them people. Maybe it could have just been the way that the video was edited, but my gut just tells me that them people, I don't know if they have her best interests at heart. I just don't. I don't. I think that they are. I think it's strictly for a come up. That's what I feel. Maybe I'll see something else that'll give me, you know, something that'll be convince me otherwise. But yeah, I think that, like Vaughn said, I think she's scared of Will. I do think that she's scared of Will, and I just don't see why Sean is there. So that's that. But anywho, this live is 1 hour and 18 minutes long and counting. I thank you all that have stuck with me throughout here. Like I told you all, I showed you all my surgery and all of that. So I'm still dealing with all of that. I feel the meds making me sleepy. That's why my eyes are getting heavy. So it's time for me. Yes, Sean. It's time for me to clock out. Okay. But I did enjoy coming back. Like I told you, I wanted to get out of bed because I was like, why are you in bed? Get out of bed. You've been in bed for 72 hours. It's time to get up, Tristan. Like, it's been a struggle. Like, I know I look okay on the camera, but that's because this is smoke and mirrors that you're seeing. Okay? This all is smoke and mirrors that you are seeing. Like, when it comes to fixing myself up, that's what I do best when it comes to being strong in public, as I talked about, you know, with the Wendy thing, you know, being strong on the camera and stuff like that. But behind the scenes, listen, it's a lot. But I do appreciate you all sticking with me and everything, and I will definitely be back. I'm kind of testing out formats. I feel like that doing a live would kind of be more beneficial for me because that would save me from having to edit videos and chop stuff up. So I'm just kind of testing things out across all 3 platforms. You can find me at Mr. 6'8", MISTERFT, the number 8, or you can find me at Tristan Ramsey which is my official name. That's my personal page, but it's still, I guess, a public page now because I have almost 10,000 people following me. So it's like I can't make it private no more. So that's that. But you can find me, Mr. 6'8", YouTube, MISTER, the number 6, FT, the number 8. And then you can find me, as a matter of fact, let me just show you. Hold on, I'm going to show you. I feel like I can show y'all better than I can tell y'all. Okay, hold on. This is my page. See this? Mr. 6'8". And there we are at the bottom. This is my YouTube page. If you want to find me on Facebook, you can find me at this right here. This is my 1 out of 2 pages. And then 6'8". Is it on Facebook? I think it's Facebook. I also got a Mr. 6'8" page on Facebook that you can find. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So this is it also. So there you have it. Those 3 pages. You can follow me on all 3 platforms. All right, y'all. Well, with that being said, it has been real. I remember I love you all for free, my fun sizers. And what I always would like to leave you with at the end of every live, believe in yourself first. Be happy for yourself first. And if you learn to do those 2 things, trust me, can't nobody steal anything away from you that don't belong to you and what is for you. Okay? Until next time, my fun sizers, I'm out of here. Good night. Peace.